More than 25 years ago, in the early 1990s, the idea of establishing a marine research and outreach center in Kerteminde was beginning to germinate. Southern Denmark University was interested in a new research facility location for its marine ecology and ecotoxicology programs, and the Kerteminde municipality was interested in establishing an outreach center to promote the town's tourist portfolio, as well as developing its teaching activities for local and non-local schools. Eventually, the idea for using a location in the harbor, both as a laboratory and as an exhibit center, rose to the surface, and Fjord&Bælt was born.
We did all of these, right? Yeah.
The idea was to conduct real research and have hands-on experiences for visiting guests. The emphasis was put on helping visitors to understand how unique and beautiful the marine environment is in the local waters right next to the center. One highlight to the visitors' experience was the inclusion of an underwater tunnel in the center's plans, containing windows to the underwater world into both animal habitats. During the past 25 years, the animals kept at Fjord&Bælt were bycatch, the result of being stuck in local fishermen's static fishing gear, pound nets. These animals were brought to the facility under special permit, where they live currently in a dynamic habitat with a natural bottom and fresh tidal flow twice daily. The harbor porpoises, harbor seals, and gray seals are fed and trained several times every day for research projects, public presentations for visitors, and educational programs for schools. These activities provide additional enrichment to their day to supplement their natural behaviors and foraging activities.
So this is Freya, and we're just doing our first full morning training session. And basically the first thing that we do every morning is to make sure to check their whole bodies, make sure nothing has happened over the night. She's fine. There's quite a bit of current in the pool today, so. But basically this is how we would, if we would take a blood sample, she just lays right here, and then we can stick a needle right here, and we don't have to take her out of the water. So we take blood samples every other month, just to make sure that all the parameters are good and healthy. And we train them several times a day. It can be anywhere from 5 to 6 times a day. And it really is to make sure that they are getting all the mental and physical stimulation that they need. Also so that we can train them for various things. For us, the biggest priority is for their medical, so that we can make sure that, oops, there's a lot of current today. Make sure that they are healthy and strong. So, and it's really nice to be able to do this. I really think that this is one of the things that has really allowed Freya to stay so healthy and strong all these years, is because we don't have to be taking her out of the water all the time to making sure she's healthy. She's participating in her own health care, and I can't make her do anything, so she is choosing to participate, and that of course has a lot to do with, then the welfare.
The physical and mental welfare of these animals at Fjord&Bælt is a top priority. Several feeds a day make sure that they have all the food they need for a healthy diet. Morning vitamins provide additional nutrients, and health is assessed daily, weekly, and monthly, depending on the routine or the circumstances. Weighing the porpoise, physical inspection, and blubber thickness are among the easiest ways to signal a problem is brewing before it becomes a big problem.
We're going to get ready to measure Freya's blubber thickness. We do it actually with two different machines every month. One is one that actually is just used on pigs to measure their fat layer, and then this is a real ultrasound machine. Ready?
So the blubber thickness is one of the major ways that they can regulate their temperature, or their the water is cold and the body is warm and the blubber is insulating them. So in the summertime it's down to about 2 centimeters thickness, and in winter it can grow almost to the double. So you can really tell now she's taking on. She's like up at about 3 centimeters in many places now.
She's put on also like
she's put on some weight,
5
right?
kilos.
Yeah.
She'll put
So
on
they
another
eat a
10.
lot in the fall to put on weight to get ready for the decreasing temperature.
Oh, okay.
And the water temperature right now should be something like, do you know what it is right now?
Oh, is it 12?
12?
Yeah, 12.
So, okay, so here, 2 is here, right? Yeah. Great. That was ventral 2, so V2.
V2, yeah.
And
V3 is right near the belly.
There you go. Yes.
And 4 is here.
And then the final one. And we did all the D's, right? Yeah. So it should be good. There we go. Yeah, perfect.
Excellent.
Research is foundational at Fjord&Bælt. Local wild harbor porpoise and the porpoise living at the facility provide data for long-term studies. Drones are being used to record research data about behavior, foraging, and blubber thickness in wild animals. And the information gathered can be used to compare the facility's animals as one facet of their health assessment.
We do blubber measurements regularly. Every month we measure the blubber thicknesses of the animals. And this is to follow, this is important for the husbandry to see that the animals here are doing okay. But it's also interesting then that we can compare these blubber thickness measurements with camera footages. So we fly over the enclosure with the drone, and we can compare the pictures from the drones with the blubber thickness data to get the sort of the calibration function, or the sort of the what we call the transfer function in scientific language, how to go from drone images to blubber thickness in a wild animal. So hopefully then, once we get more data on the wild animals, we can use that to say something about the health, and the blubber thickness is a good indicator of health in the animals. So it's a study we have just started to get the baseline data to be able to assess the wild animals. And this is a project that we start the coming year and that will run for the next 3 or 4 years here.
Conducting comparative studies like these might give scientists a clue if wild populations seem unhealthy. These data can also help guide legislators to make informed conservation decisions about these wild populations.
There's a lot of worries about how anthropogenic noise affects marine mammals. So we have shipping that porpoises react to. We have when you construct wind farms. And there is a massive interest now because of the green transition, because of the state of the world in general. The politicians really want to move forward fast with alternative energy, and big part of that is to construct wind farms. So the plans in our part of the world is to build 10,000 new wind farms, basically, and many of them will be extremely high. So we talk about structures that are they would be more than 1,000 feet high, I guess. It's more than, up to 500 meters they talk about. So very big structures out there. They generate modest levels of noise during operation, but when you build them, you create a lot of noise. And so there is a lot of concerns how this will affect the populations of porpoises and whales out there.
Anthropogenic noise is a big problem for marine mammals. One of the research topics at Fjord&Bælt are hearing studies. Scientists are trying to understand how human-made noise can adversely affect marine mammals' lives and whether they can adapt or not. It is important to understand how the noise that we make in our seas can affect the communication of its residents.
We have the gray seals in here because we want to be a little more interested in their hearing and where their hearing threshold is. And we do that so we can try to help the gray seals out in the wild and hopefully protect them a little bit from anthropogenic noise.
Operant conditioning is used by the Fjord&Bælt training staff for all the animals. This type of conditioning uses positive reinforcement to obtain a desired behavior through small successive approximations. It's a powerful tool for animal trainers and works for animals in managed care and wild animals alike. These interactions between species are positive for both. Visiting humans can spend time up close and just maybe take away a bit more understanding about some of the local oceanic residents. Resident sea creatures are enriched by the interaction as well. We are all social animals. Nowhere is it written that we can't be social with each other. Science and conservation, outreach and education are the cornerstones on which Fjord&Bælt was built. More than 100 scientific publications have roots in research conducted at Fjord&Bælt. Much of what is known about harbor porpoise are the result of studies of Freya, a unique 25-year-old porpoise that lives at the facility. Recently, more than 8,000 turbot were raised and returned to the bay in an effort to bolster important fish stocks. Education programs for local schools and universities are ongoing, with new scientists continually contributing to the body of knowledge, and visitor outreach programs run throughout the year. To conserve nature, we have to understand how we impact it. If we understand that, then we can leave it better than we found it.